All right, guys, what's going on? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's having a wonderful week so far. It's almost at hump day, and it seems the older we get, the faster time moves. I mean, I know that's probably not the case, but we just kind of perceive it that way. But anyway, with that being said, it's good to see everybody again. And yes, this is pretty much my second upload of the day. I'm kind of making up for yesterday because last night after I came home from the gym and after I had dinner, I basically just passed the fuck out. Like, my body just completely gave out, and it was like, boom. Before I knew it, it was almost 3 a.m. in the morning, so I was like, shit, might as well just take off my clothes because I fell asleep in my gym clothes. Just take off my clothes and just go to bed, and who cares about anything else at this point because I'm just so damn tired. But anyway, I want to discuss this. And now, for those of you guys that were seeking anything related to the debate that's going to happen tonight between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, I'm sorry to disappoint, but I am not going to be talking about that at all. Politics and religion are two things that I will keep away from my channel as much as possible. It would have to take quite a lot for me to even mention it when it comes to this. But the thing is, since the debate is happening tonight, I couldn't help but put those two guys in the thumbnail. It just made all the sense in the world. And of course, it's related to the topic in a certain way because it is ultimately a debate in terms of which console is better than the other. But at the same time, it all depends on the individual and what they think. And again, that actually has not much of a difference between the political debates either, if you think about it. So it just made all the sense in the world to put them in the thumbnail, but it will not go beyond that, so I can assure you of that. So let's get right into it. Now, I was actually going to originally get a little bit fancy schmancy and kind of put this image on the screen right here, and I was going to go over all the specs and all that kind of stuff, but I came to realize that, Jack, you don't even know 100% of what that means. You have a pretty good idea. You know what the GPU and the CPU is, but you don't know like anything beyond that in terms of what they mean, like what the difference in the PS5's GPU is compared to the Xbox Series X, even though they seem to be seem similar, damn near identical. But in terms of the way they're labeled is what distinguishes the differences. Like, there's a couple little things that they've specified about what the GPU is and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. So all I know is that pretty much for the most part, the specs basically mean speed, the amount of storage that it has, the graphics card, and all that kind of stuff. So really, beyond that, if you think about it, I'm just basically your average consumer at this point. And believe it or not, that's actually most of us. I grew up on consoles. I don't know. I mean, if I grew up playing PC, I guarantee you I would easily know what every single thing means. But whenever it comes to this stuff, whenever I have specific questions, I either ask on Twitter or I ask my best friend, and because he works in the field and he very much understands all that good stuff. So anytime I have a question, I basically ask him. So, or somebody else that I know that would probably know. But for the most part, it would probably be him. But anyway, so me being the average consumer with limited amount of knowledge that I have in terms of the specifications and only a basic amount of knowledge over the specifications of the consoles, ultimately it comes down to personal preference and all that kind of stuff. Now, as you guys know, I always prefer gameplay over graphics. Graphics are good and all, but at the same time, the gameplay is basically like the way the game treats you, so to speak, right? Not just the way the game looks. Kind of like comparing a gorgeous woman that has an awful person or not so good personality that don't match her looks compared to a woman that's like, let's say, average or slightly above average, but her personality is like the most wonderful thing you've ever experienced in your life. So, and guys, for those of you guys that are young and that are still growing, don't go for looks alone. Trust me, you will regret it. I still regret it to this day, but it is a lesson learned. But anyway, let's go back on topic here. So if I ultimately had to choose between, if I was forced to choose between an Xbox Series X or a PlayStation 5, which would I choose? And I'm going to tell you. I will choose an Xbox Series X. Now, for those of you guys that have been here long enough, you know that I don't take sides. I mean, if I had no financial difficulties whatsoever, I guarantee you that not only would I have both of those consoles, the better version of both of those consoles, but also I would also have at least two of the best kind of monitors with the perfect size and at least two $10,000 PCs. One dedicated for streaming and the other one dedicated for content, browsing, all that kind of stuff, gaming, you name it. So, and that's the very least I would do. And I would actually get a Switch as well, or whatever other console Nintendo would come up with, because I'm a big Nintendo fan. But ultimately, the thing that made the difference for me in choosing which one over the other was the backwards compatibility. I know that overall in power, they're decently close, I guess. You guys would know more about that than I do, for those of you guys that are tech savvy on the subject. But for the most part, I would choose the Xbox Series X simply because of the amount of support of the backwards compatibility as well as Game Pass. But anyway, that's all I got for this one, guys. Let me know which one you choose down in the comments below. Have a wonderful night. This is Jack, signing off.